In today's video, we are diving into the ongoing crisis in Sudan, a situation that has shaken the country and impacted millions of lives. The conflict, which started in April of last year, is a power struggle between Sudan's military and powerful paramilitary group known as the Rapid Support Forces (RSF). To date, this war has led to over 15,000 lives lost and forced nearly 9 million people to flee their homes, making it one of the largest displacement crises in the world, according to the United Nations. Let's break down what is happening in Sudan and why this conflict has drawn so much attention. Sudan is one of Africa's largest countries, located in northern part of the continent, covering around 1.9 million square kilometers. The population of Sudan is mostly Muslim, and its official languages are Arabic and English. Even before the war, Sudan was one of the poorest countries in the world, with its people living on average annual income of about $750 in 2022. The war has made the situation much worse, shrinking the economy by 40% in just 1 year. So, who is involved in this conflict? It started after a 2021 coup when Sudan was being led by a council of generals. The two key figures at the center of this dispute are General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the head of Sudan's military, and his deputy, General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hemedti, who leads the RSF. The tension between these two men came from disagreements over the country's future and how to transition to civilian rule. One of the main issues was the plan to merge the 100,000-strong RSF into the national army. Both generals were reportedly more interested in holding on to their power and influence than finding a solution for their country. But what is the RSF? The RSF was formed in 2013 with its roots going back to a group that had been involved in earlier conflicts in Sudan. Since then, it has grown into a significant force, playing a role in conflicts in neighboring countries like Yemen and Libya. The RSF has also been accused of committing human rights violations in Sudan, making it a source of instability for years. Tensions reached a boiling point on April 15, 2023, when the RSF began moving troops around the country, which the army saw as a threat. The conflict quickly escalated and spread across the nation, affecting cities and towns, with civilians often caught in the crossfire. This conflict is just the latest chapter in a long history of unrest in Sudan. In 2019, massive protests led to the ousting of President Omar al-Bashir, who had ruled for nearly 30 years. However, hopes for democracy were dashed when another coup took place in 2021, leaving the country once again under military control. Since then, the power struggle between General Burhan and General Dagalo has only intensified. When it comes to who controls what in the country, the RSF has gained control of significant parts of the capital, Khartoum, and the western region of Darfur, while the army holds strong in the north and east, including the strategic Red Sea port of Sudan. In recent months, the fighting has continued to shift as both sides try to regain the upper hand, with civilians bearing much of the burden. The human toll of the war has been staggering. Both sides have been accused of serious crimes, including attacks on hospitals, targeting civilians, and using tactics that have resulted in widespread displacement. The United Nations has warned that the conflict has triggered one of the world's worst hunger crises, with millions of people facing severe food shortages. One of the most strategic aspects of the conflict is how it has reignited tensions in Darfur, a region that has experienced violence and discriminations for decades. There have been allegations of targeted attacks against certain communities based on their ethnicity, raising concerns from international organizations about crimes against humanity. So how has the world responded to this crisis? International efforts to bring peace to Sudan have been slow and largely ineffective. There have been several attempts at peace talks, but none have succeeded in stopping the fighting. The United Nations and humanitarian groups have urged the world not to forget Sudan and its people, but the international response has been criticized for not doing enough. Several countries have tried to play a role in ending the conflict. France pledged $2 billion in aid, and talks have been held in places like Saudi Arabia and Bahrain, but a ceasefire seems far from reality. Even with outside interventions, both sides appear unwilling to give up their positions of power. Additionally, there are allegations that some neighboring countries and their international actors have been supporting the RSF, including reports of arms supplies from nearby states. This outside involvement has only made it harder to bring an end to the conflict. Sudan is facing one of the most challenging periods in modern history. The power struggle between its military and the RSF has plunged the country into chaos, with millions displaced and many more struggling to survive in the face of violence, hunger, and instability. The future of Sudan remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The people of Sudan desperately need peace, stability, and support from the global community. Well, that wraps up today's video. If you found this content helpful, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the conflict in Sudan in the comments below. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, thanks for watching.